Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to the ACCA Advanced Performance Management Revision session. So we are going to be conducting this first day of the revision session. This is going to be in total 6 sessions that I would be conducting. Before I start off, I would like to just mention one thing that we are having serious issues here in Pakistan with respect to the internet, and it's like becoming next to impossible to have an interruption free class. So just in case if we have got any interruption in between, so I'm actually sorry for that in advance, because we are having this issue because of some governmental restrictions. The internet is not working properly. So there might actually be some lag in the video. There might actually be some other issues that you might face when I am conducting the class, but I would try my best that you don't face any lagging. So anyways, let's just start off. Basically, um, my agenda that I'm actually going to be pursuing for the next 6 days, we have a class every alternate day. But in case if I am able to conduct additional class, I would conduct additional class during the day also. But a minimum of 6 sessions that we would be conducting, and today is the first session. So as you know that with respect to the APM, there are three questions that you get. One of them is question number one, and the remaining two are question number two and three. So question number one is of 50 marks, and question number two and three are of 25 marks each. And with respect to question number one, there are professional marks which are worth there are professional marks which are worth 10 marks. And for the question number two and three, there are 5 professional marks each. So what we would be doing is that in the first 4 sessions, we would try to do the section B questions, which is question number two and three. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to operate in the reverse order. So like starting from the recent examination paper that is available, and the recent exam paper that is available is of December 2023. So I would start off with the recent exam paper, which is December 2023, and then I'll go back to September 23 and then June 23 and so on and so forth. So whatever the exam papers that are available, we would go about discussing them. Walaikum Assalam, Nusrat Hussain. Okay, so let's just start off, and I am going to share the screen with you people. So what I'm starting off with is the recent past paper of the APM, and the recent past paper of the APM is from the December 2023. December 2023. That's what I'm actually going to start off with. APM, APM, APM here. So I have got this December 2023. I've just opened the December 2023 paper, and I would directly jump onto the question number two of this paper, and then the question number three. So whatever the topics that are being examined, we would just go about discussing them, and we just go about answering the question. Okay. The screen that is there in front of you is the ACCA computer-based examination platform. So I'm using the ACCA computer-based examination platform, and this is the December 2023 examination paper of the ACCA that was conducted. So I'm heading towards section B, and in this section B, there are two examination questions that you get. Each of the question is worth 25 marks in total, and there are basically 20 marks which are for the technical, and the 5 marks which are actually for the professional marks. So that's how it makes it 25 marks in total. That's what we would actually have. Now let's just start off and let's just start discussing. Okay, let's see. So basically what happens is that the first question that I'm going to start off is the question number two. And this question number two is about the company, the name of which is Trool. The name of the company is Trool. Let's just start discussing that what exactly is there in the Trool. So let's try to understand. It says the following exhibits available on the left-hand side of the screen provide information relevant to the question. So there's this company information, the background, strategy, structure of the company. There is this cost benefit analysis implementation for a post implementation financial cost benefit analysis to be completed for BPR, culture and accounting systems, appraisal system, and then the appendix number 1, which gives you the notes relating to old and new processes in the distribution department. Now, if I talk about the requirements of the question, one of the requirement of the question is that it is now 1st of September 2005. Respond to the CEO of Trool's request for work on the following areas: cost benefit analysis, culture and accounting system, appraisal system. So you've got these three requirements, and then there are the marks which are going to be awarded for the demonstration of the skill in analysis and evaluation, skepticism, and commercial acumen in the answer. I'm just going to open the word processor. And what I've done on the word processor is that I've just copied all of these requirements which were in there, right? Okay. Now, if I come on to this and if I talk about it, so let's actually start discussing each one of these one by one. So can you just go through the company information and see whatever the key information that you can just list down relating to this company? Can you go through this company information and see whatever the key information that you could list down in relation to this company? Okay, it says Trool is a manufacturer of money counting machines based in the country of Reland. Trool supplies many of the major banks and other businesses. Trool is in a difficult market, competing with a number of domestic and foreign businesses. So that's one of the key information that I'm just picking up here. So with respect to this company Trool, and I'm saying that it is actually in one of the difficult markets where there is a lot of competition. Now, Trool has chosen a strategy of cost leadership. So the cost leadership is the strategy that they have chosen. They've chosen the strategy of cost leadership in order to continue its growth. So what happens is that there is a strategy of the cost leadership that has been chosen. Okay, now what else is there? It says Trool has been in business for more than 50 years, owned by the same family. There's a strong sense of tradition and loyalty to the family amongst the workforce. The average time that an employee has worked for the firm is 15 years. So the average time that the employee has worked for the company is 15 years. However, this has led to a static and bureaucratic culture. So there is basically a static and a bureaucratic culture that is prevalent. Okay, so basically there is a static and bureaucratic culture that is prevalent. There is a static and the bureaucratic culture that is a static and bureaucratic culture that is prevalent in there. Now it says, for example, the company's information system are mainly paper-based. In line with traditional business culture, organization is divided into set of functional department, including production, warehousing, distribution, human resource, and finance. So basically, the organization is split into different departments. Now, what next is there? It says, in order to achieve the Trool's overall strategy, the chief executive has decided that there needs to be a re-engineering of the processes. So the chief executive has decided that there is going to be a re-engineering of the processes. She decided that this project should begin with the company's distribution department. So what is it? The company's distribution department is where they want to re-engineer. So re-engineering will be from the company's distribution department. Now, once this has been completed, the other departments will then be similarly re-engineered one after the other. As part of BPR exercise, a new information system has been introduced in the distribution department to replace the existing paper-based system. The new system allocates drivers, vans, and routes through a new artificial intelligence algorithm which claims to achieve significant efficiencies. The system automatically checks out outgoing goods dispatch notes against purchase order, thereby removing the possibility of mistakes in delivering the wrong goods to the customer. So therefore, basically the system, what it does is that it actually reduces the chances of mistakes with respect to delivering the wrong goods to the customers. Okay, so this is what we have. Now I'll move a bit forward and I'll talk about the cost benefit analysis that we are required to do. So it says CEO has asked you as a performance management expert to complete the post implementation review of the BPR of the distribution department by performing a financial cost benefit analysis. To assist you with this, the project manager has supplied you with her notes on the processes and costs within the distribution department under the old and new systems using the appendix 1. So we're going to go through the appendix number 1, and through the appendix number 1 we would have an idea that what are the things that are made available to us. So we got to do the cost benefit analysis, and let's just try to see the available information that is there. So the projects manager notes are there, and there's a spreadsheet document also available. So what we would do is that we would try to see that what is mentioned in the project manager's notes, and would try to implement them over there. Now see, it says it has been identified that the two of the distribution staff will spend all of their time creating efficient travel routes. Okay, notes relating to old system. It has been identified that two of the distribution staff spend all their time creating efficient travel routes for deliveries and allocating driver vans. So with respect to part A, which is the cost benefit analysis that we have to perform, there's a cost benefit analysis that we have to perform. And if I talk about the old system, I would say that what is happening is two of the staff members dedicated is two. So there are two staff members who are dedicated. It was noted that 4% of all delivered goods were queried by customer as they were not the goods they ordered. One manager in the customer service department spent some time dealing with such problem. Complaint is 4%. Complaint resolution, one manager is spending some time. Right? Now, what else is there? The next situation is The next situation is the annual budget for the cost of distribution department is $2.1 million. So what is this annual budget? Is $2.1 million. $2.1 million. So the annual budget is what? It is $2.1 million. Now what else is there? It says average annual staff wage in the distribution department is $30,000. Average staff wage is $30,000. Then what else is there? What is this the relevant information? It says the customer service manager spends 4 days per week handling queries relating to wrongly delivered goods. Customer service manager 4 days per week for complaint resolution. It's like 4 days per week for complaint resolution that he does. What else is there? The customer service manager annual wages are 42,000 for 5 working day week. Okay. The wage is 42,000 for 5 working days a week. Now it says notes relating to the new system are as under. The hardware total cost is 50,000. The software total cost is 185,000. Annual ongoing servicing cost is this. It is expected that the new system will last for 5 years. Cost of retraining staff in new duties is this. Initial cost of training the staff in the use of new system is this. And the annual budget on ongoing training cost of new system is this. Now what do we need to do? We need to actually do one of the calculations, and through that specific calculations we need to identify the financial cost benefit analysis of actually implementing this system. We need to understand the financial cost benefit analysis of implementing this system. So what happens is that you just need to understand one thing, which is there was something that was mentioned, and that was basically the system automatically checks out goods dispatch notes against purchase orders, thereby removing the possibility of the wrong allocation and all that. So basically, what would happen is that the benefits are going to be as under distribution staff cost saved, because what would happen is that the distribution staff, which is presently the two people with each having an annual staff wage of $30,000, that's going to be saved. Customer services manager cost saved. Cost saved is going to be what? 42,000 multiplied by 4 divided by 5. Why am I doing that? Because he's being used for 4 days out of the 5 working days. So resultingly, what are we going to get? We're going to get this. I mean, what are we going to get? We're going to get this. Which is going to be what? Which is going to be 33,600, right? So the benefits are these. Now we need to see the cost per annum that are going to be incurred. The cost per annum that are going to be incurred, we need to see that. So how would we actually establish the cost per annum? Just try to see this. We'll establish the cost per annum like this. It is like, it says there's going to be a hardware total cost and hardware as a life of 5 years. Hardware dep, just a second, please. Okay, hardware depreciation. It is going to be what? It is going to be, how much do we have the depreciation? It's like 50,000 and a 5 year life. So it's gonna be 50,000. It's gonna be 50,000 divided by 5 year life. So resultingly, it's gonna be 10 year, 10,000. Software amortization. Software amortization. The amortization of the software is gonna be how much? So let's just talk about the amortization of the software. That how much is the amortization of the software? Let's just see. Okay. So we have got the software's total cost of 185,000 and it is also going to last for 5 years. 185,000 divided by 5. Then what do we have? We have got the annual ongoing servicing cost. So there is an annual ongoing servicing cost, which is going to be 23,000. Then we have got retraining cost of retraining, scheduling a staff in new duties. Initial cost of training a staff in the use of new system. Annual budget ongoing training cost of the new system. So there is basically what happens is that cost of retraining the scheduling a staff in new duties. I'm not considering this. Initial cost of training a staff in the new system. Initial training cost amortized is gonna be how much? Initial training cost is gonna be how much? Is gonna be 2500 divided by 5. The initial training cost which is gonna be amortized is 2500 divided by 5. Then what do we have? We have this annual budget on training, ongoing training cost for the new system. Ongoing, so the total costs are gonna be what? This. The net benefit will be 93,600 minus 71,500. It's like 22,100. So hence, resultingly, the net benefit is gonna be 21,900. Now, what have I done? I've actually compared it for the overall period, which is going to be the total periods that's going to prevail. So what was the requirement of the question? That respond to the CEO's request for work on the following areas? You would say that the cost benefit, the financial cost benefit analysis of the investment in the system is performed in the spreadsheet attached. As per the analysis, there will be an annual savings of 21,900. This is a saving of how much was the total cost of this department? 2.1 million. 1.04%. Generally, BPR is expected to bring about a significant change, but the change arising in the current circumstances is very, very nominal, and it may not be appropriate to call it a BPR project. Do you people get it? So what have we done? We have actually tried to do the scenario. I've actually explained the situation, that how things are gonna be. Now let's move on to the next requirement of the question. Then it talks about the culture and accounting system. Yes, Nusrat, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Luqman.
Muslim.
Uh,
Yes,
so
yes, please.
basically, I need to understand one thing. So we have to reply our answer in the worksheet as you mentioned, as you did it. We have to do same uh, in same format, same practice, or we have to do because this first time. Many people are sitting in the CBE first time.
Okay. Thank you for asking. And basically, the questions basically see what happens is that when the questions requirement is like this, when you have to write down the answer, you have to simply say respond to the CEO of Troll's request. Because if you would have seen the videos in which I've solved all the examination questions, I've always adapted this approach for writing down the answer, which is that if there is a calculation, just do this in the spreadsheet. Just make sure that you clearly identify what you are doing. And then on the word processor, you could just refer to what you have done in the spreadsheet. So it is always going to be the case that this is how you would do. So like the calculations were done on the spreadsheet, so I would just relate that to the spreadsheet.
It's good. Okay. Second thing is, I think you did the allocation of training course for 5 years. Can you explain this, or maybe we can see the requirement of the allocating the cost for 5 years?
Okay, see, the requirement was not there. It was just that you were being given these annual costs. See, the notes relating to the old system. So you were majorly being given the annual cost. Now, when you were being given the annual cost relating to the old system, so the comparison always has to be like with like. Here we were being given the cost for multiple time periods. What I simply did was that whatever the cost that are expected to give me benefit for 5 years, I spread it those costs over a period of 5 years. Like this retraining staff. So retraining is going to give me benefit for next 5 years. This initial training cost will gonna give me benefit for the next 5 years, so on and so forth. So what I've done is that I've simply the hardware I divided it by 5 year. Software also divided by 5 year. Ongoing servicing cost, it was an annual cost that was there. Retraining cost 1000 divided by 5. Initial training cost 2500 divided by 5.
Uh, it's okay. But Mr. Lukman, if you see that, I agree with this, Yani, this concept. But if you see, there is no clearly mentioned in the requirement, so we cannot consider this as a period cost. So we have to make some this logic, Yani, to distribute over the year of 5 years, because
Okay.
it's not clearly mentioned the
Okay,
period.
that's okay. There is another way of doing it. Huh? This is another way of doing it. Let's just try to see this. I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it, right? I would say the distribution cost is gonna be this multiplied by 5. I would do it for 5 years because you see, there's one thing which the examiner doesn't need to mention, which is you should know what is the like with like comparison. You should know what do we mean by like with like comparison. That's something that he would not mention. So let's say if he is not mentioned anything and you're having this problem that why would we do it on an annual basis? Don't do it on an annual basis. Just do it this way. Like you do this calculation, just calculate it for 5 years, this for 5 years. The depreciation don't do, take the whole of the hardware. This is basically 23,000 per year, so you have to multiply it with 5 because we need to make sure that we do the like with like comparison. Ongoing training cost is annual, right? So again, for the like with like comparison, make it like this. So it's a net benefit 209 500 per year is gonna be 109 divided by 5. Do you get my point?
Yeah,
So
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. This we need to compare apple by apple. Okay, okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
because the basic rule for any comparison is it always has to be like with like. You can do either of the approaches.
Noted. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay, now see uh just a second. Huh? Okay. Now we have been able to do this part. Now let's move on to the next part, which is about the culture and accounting system. So here, what is the questions requirement? As BPR is applied across Trool, CEO is worried that the staff unrest may result from these changes. For example, the distribution schedulers were uncomfortable with the changes in their roles, which resulted from the new information system in the department. Schedulers were moved to duties such as checking driver logs and reviewing maintenance checks on the van. So you would like your assessment on how the BPR process will change the culture and accounting information system at Trool. Now, this is the actual requirement. This is what he wants to know. The actual requirement is this. This is what he wants to know. He wants to know that how it is going to have an impact. Would like your assessment on how the BPR process will change the culture and the accounting system at Trool. So that's what you have to mention, that how it will change the culture and the accounting system at Trool. Okay. Now what will we do? See, it's a 7 mark requirement. So you need to plan out the answer, that how exactly are you going to write down the answer. So you have to actually see that you would have to explain the BPR. That's the first thing that we would do. The impact on the culture. Culture is how you do things. The impact on the accounting information systems. So you would actually list down, you would actually just highlight, identify the approach that you would adopt to do a question. And basically, once you have done your planning, then the next approach is basically what you need to do is that you need to actually identify that what are the pointers that you're going to write. So once you have the pointers there, then it is very, very easy to write down the answer. Right? So what is he asking? He's asking the CEO wants would like your assessment on how the process will change the culture and accounting information systems at Rule. So basically, first of all, you would explain the BPR, which is fundamental rethinking, radical redesigning, bringing about a large change. So what do you have to do? It's basically when we talk about the business process reengineering, it is going to be a fundamental rethinking. It's going to be a radical redesigning, and it's like bringing about a large change. The existing process are ignored. The processes are being thought about from the scratch, and the implementation done. What is going to be the impact on the culture? You need to understand the impact on the culture. That what is actually going to be the impact on the culture. Just a second. Huh? Okay, sorry about it. My daughter, she was here and she was like playing with my iPad, so I had to be a bit careful. Okay, now see what happens is that you just have to think about what is going on with the culture. I talked about few of the important things with respect to it, and that was basically uh, the employees. What is happening is that there is a strong sense of tradition and loyalty to the family amongst the workforce. Average time that employee has work is so and so, so and so, so and so. Now, what actually happens is that I will just copy the whole of it because I want to make some sense out of it. I have just picked up what was there given in the question. This is an approach you can adopt in the examination also. Now, see, what are we going to do with respect to the impact on the culture? Just try to understand this. With respect to the impact on the culture, is that with the implementation of the BPR, the, the way that each of the department operates will change. The employees will have to learn new skills and adapt to the new systems that are being implemented. So what would happen is that with the implementation of the BPR, the way that each of the department operates would change. The employees will have to learn new skills and adapt to the new systems that are being implemented. There will be more of a delegation, and the employees would be expected to be more flexible in the way they operate rather than becoming used to the bureaucratic. So, how would it impact the culture? So, there would be there would be a change to the way the employees operate within the organization. So you have to incorporate just a sec. Okay. Now, what is going to be the impact on the accounting information system?
Mr. Luqman,
Yes,
I
please.
believe, sorry if I add something. Basically, from the example or from the scenario, is one of the major thing is that the culture prevailing in the company is, as mentioned, static and bureaucratic. So, normally in any corporate culture, the change is very difficult to adapt. So, I believe for the company is a very challenging in such scenario where the people are more than 15 years of experience and they have the culture is around static. It will be very challenging for the company, for the role to adapt new change, especially bringing them to a new technology. So I believe there will be we should also mention that it might be somehow negativity for for the people to receive this change. Do you think that we
Yes.
should mention the challenge?
Yes, yes, mention this. because you see what happened. I was just about to come on to that. So basically, considering I'm sorry, this my internet is actually causing a bit of lag as to what I'm writing. Considering that the employees have been with the company for long, it will be a challenging task for Trool to implement these changes, as this is a major shift to how the employees have operated within this company till now, right? So is this the point that you were trying to make, Nusrat?
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, correct. Inshallah. Because this is real
Lovely.
example
Yeah,
in
this
the
is
company. Yeah,
exactly. This is
because we need to.
everywhere. I mean, like whenever you bring about a change, the people who
We
are
have
already in there, they would say,
people
we know much better,
Yeah, yes, exactly.
right?
Also, sir,
Okay.
could you mention that they would probably want to resist these changes as well? They wouldn't
Yes, we
gravitate to
just
it.
yeah, we
They
I
wouldn't
just
grasp
mentioned
it
in
so
here,
quickly. Yeah.
right? So you need to talk about the now the next impact is that what is going to be the impact on the information system? It says that the information system are mainly paper based. A new information system has been introduced in distribution to replace existing paper-based system. The new system allocates drivers, vans, and routes through a new artificial intelligence algorithm, which claims to achieve significant efficiency. So the system will automatically check out. Now, what is going to be the impact on the information system? Now, see, what is going to happen is that the introduction of the computerized records and the automatic systems would the introduction of the computer-based systems, the computerized record and the automatic systems would change the way the information is presently recorded slash presented. The reports that are being generated would change, as the roles that the employees are expected to play would also change, and the system generated reports will support the activities that the organization undertakes. So there is going to be a cultural change, there is going to be impact on the information system. Everything is going to change once you implement this BPR project across the organization. Right? Now, lastly, what's the third requirement? The requirement number 3 was appraisal system. Now, what is he asking with respect to appraisal system? Can you just go through this area that I'm going to start discussing with you? Can you just go through it, please? Okay. So let's just start off. What does it say? It says the concerns about culture and change at Trool have led to long discussions about the HRM. At the board meeting, other directors expressed worries about the appraisal system and the staff turnover, which the CEO wants to address further. The existing system of appraisal is for staff to have annual meeting with their line manager to review the previous year's work. So what is the existing system of appraisal is for staff to have an annual meeting with their line manager to review the previous year's work and discuss generally how to improve their efforts. The result, this is an action plan for employee development and a decision on bonus to be paid, which can be up to 2% of the base salaries. Over the years, it has become common for these meetings to be informal and held over lunch at the company's expense. Around 90% of the staff receive a full 2% bonus. CEO wants advice on the following: the usefulness of the current appraisal process at Rule and why staff turnover is a bad thing. So basically, now what do we need to do? The CEO wants advice on the following: the usefulness of the current appraisal at Rule and why staff turnover is a bad thing. So this is something that we would be focusing upon, right? Now let's just always the approach should be that you should try to list down the pointers. You should try to list down the pointers that what are you going to write down in the answer. Once you try to list down the pointers, that makes things easy. Just try to list down the pointers that what are you going to try and write down. So majorly what you need to do, you need to first of all talk that basically the concept of appraisal. What is the concept of appraisal? It's like a process to evaluate the performance of the employee, identify learning and development needs, identify the learning and development needs, so what happens is that what is the appraisal? That's what you would have to explain first. And usefulness of current appraisal system, discussion of staff turnover and why it is not a good thing. So what is it going to be? What the appraisal is a process to evaluate the performance of the employee, identify the learning and development needs. And what happens is that these appraisal act as a tool for motivating the employees and to encourage them. The rewards may also be decided in these appraisal meetings. You're not going to write down the pointers. I'm just writing down the pointers to create a scenario for you people. Now the current appraisal system, what is the problem with the, what is it basically? It's a sort of become an informal process. Neither the appraiser nor the appraisee takes them seriously. The way bonus is defined is probably making it to be is probably making it to be the way the bonus is defined is probably making it to be less attractive to employees. There is as such no development needs identified and just a tick box exercise that is adapted. It should be changed the way it is conducted, and one of the major amendments that is needed to be made is that the bonus should not be predefined. Lastly, discussion of staff turnover. Staff turnover is when employee leaves. Employees learn when they work with company. New staff has to undergo learning curve effect. The impact of this is that the new staff has to undergo the learning curve effect. Efficiency within the organization reduces. Time and cost is spent in training the staff. So you get my point? Do you get my point? Right now, you just have to elaborate all this. Right? You got to elaborate all this. right? You got to elaborate all this. Now, I'm actually creating a process for you that how you would handle these things in the examination. It's like writing down the pointers and then going about it. Like writing down the pointers and going about. Right? Okay, lovely. So basically, what have we done? We have actually been able to do one of the examination questions, which you would actually get a good idea as to how a question should be dealt with in the examination. I'm sorry for there being a bit of lagging into my video and also into the screen that I actually was writing, but thanks to our government, the political uncertainty that is prevalent in our country, we just stuck and have no choice because it's like very bad. We are not even able to manage our portals well, like quite a challenging thing that has happened nowadays with us here in Pakistan, especially to manage all these things. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the session today and that it was fruitful for you and that you got an idea as to how to write down the answers to a question, how to do workings. That's what the whole objective of the session was. So would be really happy to hear the feedback from you, and also in case if there is any question, you're most welcome to ask and I'll be happy.
Sarah, could you please just put up back the screen again for me, thanks?
You want a PDF of that?
Yes,
What do you
sure,
want?
thanks. Yes.
I'll share. I'll share. Don't worry. Sure,
Okay.
don't worry. Right?